The relentless Arizona sun beat down mercilessly on the parched terrain near the Mexican border. Clouds of reddish dust swirled with every breeze, painting visibility in a muted orange. For years, mine-clearing operations had churned this landscape, unearthing lethal secrets that slumbered beneath the soil. Young, eager experts, armed with the latest technological marvels, boasted of their efficiency, while she, a silent observer, merely communed with the earth beneath her feet. Her eyes, pools of deep wisdom, were etched with lines mirroring the desert's harshness. Every muscle in her body seemed attuned, trained to discern even the faintest tremor from the ground. This wasn't merely a job for her. It was a profound language, a silent dialogue only she could comprehend, a skill forged in the crucible of war. Yet no one truly heeded her whispers. They perceived her as just another ordinary, perhaps slightly eccentric civilian veteran. Some even idly speculated that she'd merely taken up this perilous task to ward off the ennui of retirement. But Clara Evans, in her late 50s, with her perpetually aching knees and a barely perceptible limp, was the quiet vessel of a soul that once intimately understood the very breath of the earth. Clara, clad in her loose-fitting faded khaki coveralls and old worn combat boots, moved deliberately across the treacherous landscape. Around her, the younger soldiers, brimming with youthful arrogance, cast dismissive glances. Corporal Jackson Cole, barely out of his 20s, leaned towards Specialist Lena Diaz, a picture of youthful ambition and unwavering faith in technology. "Why's your grandma so sluggish, Lena?" Cole snickered, loud enough to be heard. "Guess she's still waiting for the war to end." Lena, though focused on her own tasks, couldn't suppress a faint smile. She genuinely struggled to grasp Clara's methodical pace and antiquated methods, viewing them as inefficient relics. Lieutenant David Maverick Riley, a whirlwind of boundless energy, brandished his state-of-the-art handheld detector, his voice booming across the expanse. Keep pushing! Time's a-tickin', folks! Those mines won't unearth themselves!" Meanwhile, Clara's gaze remained locked onto the Earth's depths. With each measured step, she could feel the subtle vibrations of countless infinitesimal particles beneath the soil. This was her lexicon, a singular, profound language, the silent, unspoken lexicon of war that had irrevocably shaped her. Captain Marcus Thorne, a man whose weary eyes spoke of years of command, meticulously oversaw the operation from the shaded confines of his command tent. He was a seasoned soldier, yet harbored a faint, almost imperceptible skepticism towards such civilian assistance. He'd perused Clara's terse file. Retired EOD technician, commendably high success rate, but notably unconventional methods. The true implication of that last phrase eluded him. He was a firm believer in swift, technologically driven solutions. As Clara stepped onto the field, the other mine-clearing teams, a blur of efficiency, were already rapidly scanning vast swaths of terrain using their cutting-edge sensors and a fleet of reconnaissance drones. Lieutenant Riley, his chest puffed with pride, called out, "Our drones can sweep in an hour what you clear in a day, Ms. Evans." Clara simply offered a faint, knowing smile. "Sometimes, Lieutenant, what the eye sees reveals more than what the device registers." The young men, oblivious to the hidden depth of her retort, merely shrugged, their mocking expressions unwavering. Flashback. Kuwait, 1991. The scorching Kuwaiti dunes shimmered under a brutal sun. Young Sergeant Clara Evans, sweat-drenched, her face streaked with soot and desert dust, moved with the unwavering focus of a sculptor. With her antiquated metal detector in hand, she meticulously swept the ground, her movements deliberate, almost reverent. Around her, other soldiers, a flurry of activity, operated loud new-generation devices. Then, A deafening blast tore through the oppressive silence, instantly shattering the mundane rhythm of the operation. At that precise, terrifying moment where the young men's sophisticated modern devices were rendered utterly blind, Clara's experienced hands, guided by an instinct honed in countless forgotten skirmishes, would instinctively recall a dance that had, time and again, cheated death. Clara, her heart pounding with a familiar dread, saw a desperate soldier step on a mine. Amidst the rising screams, she instinctively dropped to the ground, her face pressed against the dusty earth, feeling, discerning with her bare hands. She located the mine, but in doing so, her own hand was deeply gashed and bleeding. What she acutely perceived at that pivotal moment was the earth's urgent whisper, that terrifying, silent language that screamed of imminent danger. This traumatic incident, a brutal testament to war's unforgiving nature, would profoundly mark her post-war life, binding her irrevocably to this dangerous profession. The uncanny ability to intuit what lay hidden beneath the earth, a sixth sense that defied logic, would, from that day forward, become Clara's most profound and guarded secret. End of flashback. Present day. As the afternoon wore on, the sun's intensity intensified, creating shimmering heat hazes that distorted the very air, making distant objects ripple across the field of vision. The mine-clearing team, advancing cautiously in their designated sector, was suddenly jolted when Specialist Lena Diaz's detector shrieked wildly. "Signal! A very strong signal!" she yelled, her voice laced with adrenaline. Lieutenant Riley, a picture of agitated excitement, lunged forward. "Where? Look at the display! What kind of mine?" Lena's device indicated an unusually large mine, of a type they hadn't previously encountered in the region. Captain Thorne, his voice crackling over the radio, instructed with a strained calm. "Hold your position. Don't rush. We weren't expecting anything like this in this area." Clara, a mere few meters away, her eyes half closed, remained utterly still, listening intently to the earth's subtle vibrations. She heard the young men's panicked shouts and frantic exchanges, but to her, these were merely distracting noises. What truly mattered, what truly held her focus, was the silent, urgent whisper of the earth. She approached the agitated group, her steps measured, deliberate, as if she feared disturbing the very ground beneath her. Lena, her face a mask of anxious frustration, turned to her. "Stay back, ma'am. This is extremely dangerous. Someone like you has no business here." Clara, seemingly impervious to Lena's dismissive words, simply ignored them. Instead, she produced a small, rusty hammer from her kit and lightly tapped the ground. Tap, tap, tap. With each delicate tap, she could discern the subtle voids, the hidden stones, the concealed metallic fragments beneath the surface. She closed her eyes, took a deep, steadying breath. In her mind's eye, a remarkably precise map of the subterranean landscape began to coalesce. 2 meters ahead, to the left, she stated, her voice calm, devoid of any discernible emotion. "It's an anti-tank mine, and beneath it there's a booby trap." Lieutenant Riley, his face contorted in a mixture of disbelief and mocking amusement, let out a short, incredulous laugh. "That's ludicrous. Our detectors didn't even register it. Don't make things up, ma'am." Lena, her brow furrowed in skepticism, added, "A booby trap? On what basis are you claiming that?" Clara, her expression unyielding, simply pressed her finger into the soil. "The earth communicated it to me. This specific weight, this particular density, this is the distinct signature of a booby trap's trigger." Captain Thorne, his initial skepticism warring with a nascent flicker of unease, looked directly at Clara. "Ms. Evans, you must substantiate these claims. One error and we could all perish." Clara's eyes, unwavering, met Lieutenant Riley's. The only thing I don't wish to prove is how profoundly wrong I am. Would you care to step on the mine, Lieutenant?" Riley's face instantly drained of all color, his earlier bravado evaporating into thin air. Clara turned to Lena Diaz, her gaze firm but not unkind. "Hand me one of those probing rods." Lena, though still visibly hesitant, complied. Clara, with the delicate precision of a surgeon, slowly inserted the probing rod into the ground. Every centimeter of its descent was executed with meticulous care. The young soldiers, their breaths collectively held, watched Clara's every deliberate movement. Beads of sweat trickled down her forehead, tracing paths to her chin. Clara's face at that moment was a stark, unyielding tableau, a harsh, unwavering reflection of the brutal realities of war. Another centimeter. Then a faint, almost imperceptible click echoed, a sound that only Clara seemed to hear. An expression not of triumph, but of profound, bittersweet experience bloomed across Clara's face. She slowly withdrew the rod. On its tip, a small, metallic fragment gleamed faintly. "See?" she said quietly, her voice barely a whisper yet resonating with undeniable authority. "That's what your detector failed to perceive." Lieutenant Riley and Lena Diaz's faces were now masks of utter shock and palpable embarrassment. Captain Thorne, his earlier dismissiveness utterly shattered, hastily confirmed the mine's presence and marked its perimeter. His eyes, now filled with a burgeoning respect, turned back to Clara. "Miss Evans, this is truly incredible. How could our detectors possibly have missed this?" Clara, with her characteristic slight limp, circled the now marked mind. "Some things, Captain, are inherent within the Earth's own narrative. One simply needs to possess the wisdom to listen." Captain Thorne, deeply unsettled, approached Clara. "And the booby trap? Are you absolutely certain?" Clara, with a resolute nod, confirmed its presence. "It's there as well. These types of mines rarely appear in isolation." The captain, his voice now imbued with a new urgency, gave the immediate order: "Clear the booby trap first." The EOD team, working with an unprecedented level of caution, began meticulously excavating the spot Clara had indicated. Moments later, a small, cunningly hidden triggering mechanism was revealed, precisely as Clara had predicted. Corporal Cole, his face now a vivid crimson, turned to Clara. "Miss Evans, I treated you with profound disrespect. I sincerely apologize." Clara, her touch light yet firm, placed a hand on Cole's shoulder. "It's of no consequence, Corporal. What truly matters is learning from your missteps and exercising greater vigilance next time." Lena Diaz, her youthful arrogance visibly chastened, approached Clara. "Your abilities, how does one acquire such training?" Clara's gaze drifted towards the distant horizon, her voice soft, contemplative. "Some truths, Specialist, are not acquired in a classroom. Some truths are inherent within the fabric of life itself." The operation, a testament to Clara's uncanny abilities, was successfully concluded. The minefield, once a silent harbinger of death, was now rendered safe. Captain Thorne, his demeanor transformed, approached Clara. "Miss Evans, your invaluable contributions to this operation, they must be officially documented. Your name deserves to be immortalized as a true hero." Clara, with a gentle smile, demurred. "My name is not required, Captain. What is truly important is the successful completion of our mission, ensuring no more lives are lost." Yet Captain Thorne's mind continued to grapple with the profound enigma of Clara's extraordinary gift. As evening descended upon the Border Patrol camp, Dr. Emily Carter, a compassionate doctor affiliated with a civilian aid organization, engaged in a quiet conversation with Captain Thorne. "I heard what transpired today, Captain. They say Clara was absolutely remarkable." Thorne, with a sigh that carried the weight of newfound understanding, nodded slowly. "She truly was remarkable, Doctor. But I'm baffled. I can find absolutely nothing about her past. It's as if she's a phantom." Dr. Carter offered a gentle smile. "I know Clara well, Captain. She is a woman who has endured and witnessed a great deal in her life. If you simply spend some time with her, perhaps you'll learn to listen not to the earth, but to her whispers." Clara, with characteristic quietude, silently vanished after the successful conclusion of the operation. No one dared to seek her out. They instinctively understood that some heroes, by their very nature, prefer the sanctuary of silence. Her legend, a whisper carried on the desert wind, began to circulate among the troops. The woman who communed with the earth. She would remain an invisible hero, a testament to unrecognized valor. But most profoundly, Clara had, through her quiet actions, unequivocally demonstrated to everyone that true heroism is not measured by the thunderous applause of crowds, but by the quiet, unassuming sacrifices made in the shadows. A few months later, Lieutenant Riley, during a routine training exercise, paused abruptly while instructing young soldiers on the proper use of a mine detector. "Remember," he solemnly advised them, his voice now infused with a new reverence, "sometimes even the most advanced technology cannot perceive what the eye truly sees and what the heart instinctively feels. Learn to listen to the earth, just like Clara Evans." This profound narrative stands as an enduring testament to the quiet valor of silent heroes, the immeasurable impact of unseen sacrifices, and the transformative power of underestimated talents. It serves as a poignant reminder that often the most formidable strength resides within a humble soul, far removed from the clamor of recognition or the dazzling glare of public acclaim. To ensure that more individuals are profoundly moved by powerful human stories such as this, we earnestly encourage you to subscribe to our channel and, if this narrative resonated with you, to express your appreciation by liking this video. In the comments section below, we invite you to share your own poignant stories of silent heroes you have encountered in your life, individuals who, much like Clara, demonstrated extraordinary courage without seeking recognition. Perhaps our next compelling story will be profoundly inspired by the experiences you share, because ultimately, some stories, though whispered, speak with a resonant power that transcends mere words.